Welcome, folks, to the hit TV show, host show, talk show the entire world is talking about, conversations with the most impactful, empowering, intelligent, and overall badass people, all in kimonos. I'm your host, Icon, and this is Conversations in Kimonos. Today, I've got a legendary I've got a legendary guest, one of the absolute best. He's a beast in our marketing world. He's got over 40,000 people in his 50,000 people in his Facebook group. He's brought in over seven figures in the last couple months.
12 months.
In the last 12 months, building out his agency, even during a pandemic.
Yeah.
His mascot is the almighty Buttocks.
Yeah.
And his group is known as the Agency Scaling Secrets, formerly known as the Ass Group.
Ass Fam.
So today, the Ass Fam. So today, we've brought on the cult leader of the Ass Fam, the slayer of women and StarCraft himself, Jeff Miller is in our presence. Jeff, how you doing?
I would say that introduction is pretty accurate.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. The slayer of women and StarCraft, that's like 90% of my day.
90% of the day.
Yeah. And then I would say 10% is like real life stuff. Yeah. But I was curious why you didn't go with iconic or iConversation.
Yeah. So we're testing this out right now. Yeah. I feel like the kimonos is kind of fun.
Iconic conversations in kimono.
So I was thinking about like so when I thought about like I want to start a podcast, most people start a podcast because they're like, I'm gonna move this out of my face, I feel like I'm talking to it. Most people start a podcast because they're like, I want to make more sales. I want to just do it because it's the thing now. Right. But the thing is that I didn't want to do that. Like when I wanted to have a talk show, like I grew up watching Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. And I thought like he's got this really cool host talk show where he brings in guests and they have fun games.
He laughs at all their jokes.
Yeah. I want to do something like that. I don't want to have a podcast really. I want to have a podcast to have the conversations that matter. Yeah. And I don't want to just bring in any goofball with a marketing group together. I want to talk about Neuralink. I want to talk about the future of medicine. I want to talk about all kinds of different topics. So I wanted to have a show based around conversations. But nobody ever wants to sit down and listen to conversations, right?
I was like, I don't know anything about Neuralink.
Yeah.
So
today, Jeff,
we're talking about agency stuff.
on Neuralink Introduced. I wanted to sit there. I wanted to have conversations that matter. You know, I think every time I see you on a podcast or you do any podcast in your group, people always talk to you about, they want to know about, you know, how did you build your agent? Is your eye okay?
Yo, this is the longest eyebrow.
Let me see that real quick.
That is uncomfortably long.
So big.
Like, I didn't think that would be a thing, and I yanked out the root.
Can we zoom into that real quick?
That is a lot going on for like an
okay,
eyebrow.
never mind. We're not going to zoom.
Like, I know you're saying something important.
Yeah.
So
backtrack that there. So Jeff just pulled out his eyebrow for our listeners.
Okay.
But essentially, most people, when they get in these interviews with you, they ask the same questions. How did you build a 6-figure marketing agency in less than 3 months during a pandemic? How do you run a big Facebook group? What is your motivation? Where's your passion? And I feel like there's a lot of things that I don't really ever hear from you.
Go for it. Ask away.
So taking it back to what you just talked about, in your daily life, right? Your typical schedule is, as I've seen, you come to the office, you work every day. Yeah. And you come here fairly often and whatnot, but what is life like outside of the agency world? Because most people, when they get into this space, they kind of, work becomes their life and there's nothing to go home to. Is that you?
Yes.
You never go.
I fucking love this. I would do this every day for the rest of my life.
Every day the rest of your life.
Every day the rest of my life.
You love this shit.
This is my Michelangelo. All this. Yeah. They're like, I would never do anything else other than like you've got the stereotypical, like the big house, the fast cars, the pretty girls, right? Like that will come over time. That's a function of like hard work. But like, Michael Jordan was like, my life is basketball, right? And like when you look at people that are really good at football, it's the same answer, right? And this is my stadium, right? So when I go home, there is a like decompression ritual or like a thing that I'm not doing and trying to like give space to other people so that they don't rely on me and they can figure it out themselves. Because like if you run your agency always immediately responding to everything, you don't allow other people to solve their own problems. Like I will get texts from clients who are like, how do I do this? If I answer it immediately, they won't learn how to Google or go back to the videos that I sent them.
But in that sense, I mean, I feel you because when I started getting into this, like it became my life. Like I don't have, my life is terrible now because of you. It sucks.
It's horrible.
I can't enjoy shit anymore.
Unbelievably
Thank
difficult.
you very much.
Worst thing ever.
I'll be at a date with my girlfriend. I'll be eating dinner.
And you're talking about Facebook ads.
And she'll be like, I'll look off in the distance and she'll be like, I bet he's thinking about other women. And I'll be like, if I just duplicate my media, I can lower my CPA by 20%.
That is correct.
Like that's how my life is now.
Yes.
And I can't go back.
No going back. Yeah, there's no other way.
So like, but do you think that there's like a tipping point? Because there's a lot of people in our circle that they've lost like all humanity now.
Yes.
And they have their agency, they have the money, they have the working system, but they don't have like a humanity to return to. What do you think that tipping point is? Like,
so,
when do you get in that like danger zone?
This is a problem that happens with people who do investment banking and consulting.
Okay.
Like the way investment bankers and consultants are recruited is you go to like business school for like 2 years. Like you go to Harvard for 2 years. You're obsessed about business school. That becomes your defining moment. That's the Letterman jacket that you wear, right? Yeah. And everybody knows you that. And then you go and you do your 1 year at McKinsey or your first year at Goldman Sachs, and you pass that test, and then your second year, and you're no longer an associate, or you're no longer an analyst, you're an associate, something like that. And somewhere during that 6-year journey of like the 2 years of business school, and then the 2 years of, or that 4-year journey, 2 years of business school and 2 years of like work, they feel like that they've lost themselves. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. And usually by the 4th year, they're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I want to do something different. Yeah. Happens with everybody. Freshman all the way to sophomore. That's what freshman to senior, that's what happens. And business school up to the 2nd year of their actual like, I'm doing what I thought I wanted to do, and now it's not what I want to do anymore.
Yeah.
Here's the mistake that everybody makes. They think they have to make a lifelong choice, right? Like this is my ultimate nirvana. This is what I want to do. And my grandfather had a really cool saying, which is just do what you want to do until you don't want to do it anymore. And then don't do it anymore, do something else. And when you look at like a really good life story, it's made up of chapters that are like somewhat linked together, but they're separate stories.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I really view the people that are massively successful view their life in a series of stages or stories, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. Right. And so like I know people that, and we're not going to say their names, but you know people as well, they're doing like $1 million a month. Yeah. Right. And like they've gone through those stages inside of their own company. So they're like, hey, I built this and it's not what I want to do anymore. So what am I going to do now? What's the life that I want to live for the next 12, 18, 24 months? Yeah. And so like I changed that. My freshman year was a shitty apartment on the beach that didn't really have windows, and there were way too many cockroaches, and everything was horrible. I was like, this is not the life that I want to live. And I was doing like 30, 40,000 a month, but it was just me. And I was like, this isn't going to work for me anymore. So I had to change that journey. So like I felt like I lost myself, right? And then I was like, all right, well, it's time to move, time to do something else. What is the life that I want to live? Okay, so here's the dollars, here's the numbers, here's the experience, right? Yeah. And like you saw that transition too. And then I did it
from this terrible poop apartment to now you're living in this floor to ceiling windows, beautiful place in Miami.
Right. And now I've got a team. My numbers are moving in the right direction. We got hit with Corona, and that means that we can build an agency that can go from 0 to 7-figure run rate. We'll probably do that in less than 90 days.
90 days.
And we're like,
how long did you start it?
Right now, 10 weeks.
So you're 10 weeks in.
Yeah. So we've got 3 or 4 more weeks. So that's so we got 3 or 4 more weeks. How do you do math when you're talking?
How many weeks?
No, that's 2 weeks. I'm a liar. So we can't do it in 90 days. Probably
90 days is 2 weeks?
90 days is 2 weeks from 10 weeks because that's 3 months.
Okay. So in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that won't happen. I misspoke, right? Okay. It'll probably be like 30 days from now.
30 days from now. Gotcha.
So we're about 6 clients away from hitting that $83,000 a month rate.
Wow.
Right. And so, all right, so let's just say it's 100 days to 7 figures. Fine, right? I mean, it's still awesome anyway. But the way I did it was like, all right, I'm going to sprint for 3 weeks. I'm going to burn myself out, hire a bunch of people, let them grow, and then take a step back because I didn't want to repeat freshman year all over again, right? And so I really go through certain stages, and what happens is some people, they just get stuck on the stage. Yeah. They don't learn how to transition to the next. And that's either what you're experiencing or you're seeing people not experience that. And there's people that we know like that are stuck in their apartments in like in Austin, Texas, that are like, I'm building this company and I'm sitting in a room with no people. And that's probably how he's going to live his life in the next 6, 12 months. Yeah. And then he's going to hit that, 2-year mark at Goldman Sachs and say, this is not the life that I want to fucking live and purposely change. Gotcha. He's done that 1 million times.
Gotcha.
The guy that you visited like last week or so, I'm sure he's gone through those changes as well.
Of course.
But everybody makes that solid mistake of like, I built this castle and I can't move anymore. And the people that grow say, all right, I built this castle and I'm going to move and build a new castle.
So
that's freshman, sophomore, junior.
Yeah, I like that analogy about the castle because I think that's one of the things that like terrifies me the most. Like I became fascinated with essentialism last year. Yeah. Growing up, my mother was incredible. We always had a lot of stuff in our house. Yeah. We had a lot of stuff.
So many tchotchkes.
A lot of tchotchkes and all kinds of other stuff. But it was always cool stuff. Like it was always stuff that had purpose, but we didn't know when it would have purpose. It'd be like a random draw. Yeah. And it was like, and so growing up, I was always trying to buy a lot of stuff. And I remember when I left, I took a trip in 2018. I went to Bali.
Yep.
And I carried around like 4 luggage bags, and just traveling around those 4 luggage bags was so fucking difficult to me. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I started looking online. I found out about Essentials, and I said, okay, great. I can only live from 1 backpack.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try this out. Next time I went overseas, I went to Israel, and I carried 1 backpack, and that survived for me 2 months. I lived out of 1 backpack. And I said, this is amazing. And the reason we're tying this in here is because what I'm terrified of is that, like, every time I talk with JR Arribas, you know, when you're building that business, like, I can't leave now.
Yeah.
You know, like, I create this flow, I create this habit that makes my business work. And when I leave, even if I live out of a 1-bedroom apartment, even if I don't have a car, even if I don't even pay rent, when I leave, I still have that attachment to, like, my physical place. I don't have the choice to go and build another castle.
Right.
It's either like this castle is, I'm in it, or I'm selling it and then now using that money to buy a new castle.
Correct.
And that's what I think terrifies me the most is, like, I don't ever want to be tied to the idea that I built a business. The whole reason people build businesses is usually to establish freedom.
Yeah.
I didn't build a business to build my own cage.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people do build their own cage.
The mistake I made with my first agency was doing that. I definitely had a cage. The second agency was me saying, how could I build this without a cage? So I hired people immediately, went to market, went to offer, found white labelers or fulfillment partners. I was like, I'm not dealing with this, you are, right?
Yeah.
And with this version, the one that I rebuilt during Corona, I was like, this is pretty darn close. Like, I'm approaching it with a sense of, I'm installing people. I am not the quarterback. I'm the general manager or the coach.
Okay.
And I need a person here, a person there, a person there. And the reason I can do that is because I went to market and just charged a lot of money. Like, we charge $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
And most people charge $1,000 or $1,500. And I was like, I can't do that with only $1,000 or $1,500. That's where you get trapped. And it's literally the agency trap of, like, I'll just charge less because I don't know how to charge more. And now I don't have margin for stuff that works. And so it's me and nobody else. And nobody really wants to work for you and get paid $250 a month, but that's your margin. So you're like, fuck, right?
Yeah.
So, like, once I learned how to just raise my prices, and there's like a series of frameworks that you go through, then I could do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Yeah.
And the agency that we're building now, and we can't say his name, but, like, we've got people that you built it to spec, I'll write you a fucking check.
Yeah.
Built to sell, right? And so if you read that book, Built to Sell, you will build a company where you can leave and it still works and runs. And then you do other stuff.
But you just said it here, right?
Yeah.
Like, you said, I can do this every day for the rest of my life and I'll be the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
Right? So when you sell it, what do you do next?
Something else.
Do you just build another agency or what?
Probably, yeah. Like, you know, the people that really, really love buying homes and flipping them?
Yeah.
And then rebuilding them and then redecorating, then flipping them, or buying an apartment complex and then flipping them.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, I did in Miami, and I did 10 of those, so I'm going to do it in Tampa, and did 5 more, and then Washington. It's all, like, different versions of their journey, right?
Gotcha.
Different versions of that painting.
Sure.
And so, like, if we decide to keep the agency or sell it, either one is okay, because I built a business that runs without me. Gotcha. I've got managers and leadership, and we've got our daily ritual, weekly ritual. We just did a mass text. We discovered one of our clients is super unhappy, but he's been lying to us the whole time. At the same time, we found another client that wanted to renew, another client made $150K.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
And it took me like 30 minutes to have that conversation, and everything is cool. And I couldn't do that if I wasn't charging enough money.
So when you think about all these things, though, like about charging money, I built the fundamentals, I did all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'm most thankful for in this space is the fact that I built up, you know, just like you were working in IT for Intel, right?
Yeah.
And now, no, not Intel.
No,
what was it?
Not
Dell?
in IT.
Was it Dell?
No, it wasn't IT.
What
It was
the
at
fuck was
Intel.
your job?
It was Lean Six Sigma supply chain operation.
What the hell? Lean Six Sigma?
Yeah, it's a complicated.
That
It's
sounds like a fraternity.
It's one of these books, but yeah.
Lean Six Sigma.
Yeah. It's what I'm doing now, but I did it for Intel. The difference is like a couple extra zeros.
But so I'm saying that, like, I think I'm most thankful out of all the online businesses I could choose, FBA, Shopify, dropshipping, e-com, all that jazz. I chose this one because in an agency, you get skills.
Yes.
You get skills to not only, you know, if you're running an e-com store, you're not really running a business in a lot of cases. You're more running a skill set in that you're finding products that you're in. If you build up a team, it's a different story. But in an agency, you're learning about the fundamentals of building the fulfillment machine, then building the prospect machine, then converting it all with the sales machine. And now, because you have those skills, you can leave any business you want, like yours right now, and you can start another one.
Correct.
And I learned this earlier this year because, you know, we were in a pandemic. I had an event-based business. It all failed. And then I was able to say, hey, you know what? I've learned how to play this game once. I could just restart again.
Correct.
We started up a mortgage company. Within 34 days, we had our first paying client at $2,000 a month.
And like, if you're like, being hungry is not that big of a deal if you know how to hunt.
Yes.
And building a company and feeling stuck is not that big of a deal if you know how to sell it and be unstuck. So you're always going to have that first 30, 60, 90 days of like, oh, fuck, and you can't move and you can't leave. That ability to leave usually is like 10, 18 months down the line.
Yeah.
When everything is settled, things are consistent, you've got the management, they've gone through that experience enough, and they know what to do and how to do. Like, I'm not going to leave my agency right now. We're like 90 days in or whatever.
Yeah.
But like 6 months in, I'd be like, hey, guys, I'm going to take a more strategic leadership position. And you see news releases all about that. Like, hey, our senior vice president is going to take a leadership position at CEO. And the CEO's like, hey, I'm going to take a broader point of view as a chairman of the board. That's like different versions of their Michelangelo or on the same journey. But that's the weirdest part, is having the conscious and cognizance of like, hey, I'm not happy where I am. And how do I create my own happiness without losing my shirt?
So that's kind of what I think I really wanted to base a majority of this interview on today, was not the agency, not the how I built 7 figures, but like, what's really the point?
Yeah.
Like, why did you do this?
It's really to prove to myself, my parents, that I wasn't a failure.
And how do you feel like that?
No, I feel like I'm not a failure anymore, which is cool because I've had to do it multiple times. So like, for people who don't know, I got a job at Ericsson, Dallas, Texas, got fired 3 times in 9 months from the only real job I ever had.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be like I've made it, like the MBA, I work on cool projects, and I wear a suit and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it was like me trying, and I fucking failed flat on my face. Like, I had to move back home to my parents in their spare bedroom, like that type of stuff, right? And so like, this idea of failure has been like super embedded in me. Like 90% of my drive is to push the failure out and prove to myself that I'm not, right?
That you're not a failure.
Correct. And then this recession, quarantine, whatever we're calling this, has like, kind of exposed that feeling of failure again. And for the first time in probably 2 or 3 years, I had to prove to myself that I wasn't failure again. And I did it, right? And I did it twice. And I was like, yo, I don't have to worry about this shit anymore.
So we always have to, it's not like a one moment thing. We always have to feel like there's these loops where I feel like I'm successful, and then I could be a month later and I'll feel like I'm a complete failure.
I mean, that's the problem with having to take a shower. You need to do it every day.
Wow. That was...
Right?
That was deep.
Right? Like,
I didn't mean it to, but that was deep.
You can't go to gym once and be like, I'm so happy I have the 6-pack forever, right?
Yeah.
It has to be that daily occurrence.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like, proving to myself that I can do it, I will do it. I'm not the things that I don't want to be. I'm the things that I am. That's part of that daily ritual. So like, when I'm not exhausted, and like, I would say effectively 6 days out of 7 days out of the week, I walk for an hour.
Yeah.
And I have my phone and just voice note to myself. Cool. And then I get home and I exercise for 30, 45 minutes. And I've been lucky enough to live in a place that has a steam room, a sauna, and a pool. Oh. Right? It's super fun.
Super fun.
So I work out in the morning, and then are you drinking for the camera?
I'm sorry.
I hope that audio comes out the way I heard it. Like so,
slurp, like
just right? So like, all throughout high school and college, I was the fat kid. Right? You never had the 6-pack.
Yeah.
Like, the most I could ever bench was like 315, but I had the gut that was way too big, so it didn't even matter. And so like, every single day, I wake up, I do my walk, and I do my exercise, do my steam sauna whole ritual to constantly prove to myself that I'm not the fat kid anymore, and I can be the ripped kid that I want to be. And every day I go to the office to prove that I can be the successful business owner that I want to be, and not the failure that I don't want to be.
I like that.
It's part of like the constant effort. And honestly, like, if you don't tell your mom that you love her every day, she freaks the fuck out.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God, I said it
last. I love you, Mom.
Last week I said it. Why do I have to say it again?
That's what I say with my girlfriend.
Right?
I gave you dinner last week. Why do I do it again?
Why do I have to do it again? Right?
Why do you eat? How do you eat food so much?
I have to do this shit every day, right? And that's I think is like the key point. Like you have to like prove to your brain and your ethos or your spirit, like, I am in the right direction. I'm doing it correctly. So I don't know if there's something smart in there, but I think there was.
No, I think there's a lot to break down in that. But I guess, like, I think everyone values what success to them is differently.
Yeah.
Because what was like there had to be a singular moment where you walked away and you were like, that was it. I did it. I saw the number in the account. Like, I've done it. I'm there. Yeah. Right. Like, what was one of those moments like for you?
It was, I wasn't in the office. I was at my house. This was the second week of me doing all the sales calls to like kickstart this agency in the right direction. Yeah. And we did a $10,000 day, and I was like, holy shit, I fucking did it.
Nice.
And I didn't, like, since you're not paid in cash or a check, like, it doesn't have the visceral feeling. You just see a number, and you're like, I don't know if that really counts, but it did. Yeah. And I was like, I learned how to hunt. Like, no matter what, I will never, ever make less than $1 million a year, ever.
You have to be a tiger.
Right. You have to go hunt.
Well, so there's a great analogy Alex Hormozy told me. which is essentially like I only want to hang around tigers, right?
Yeah.
So there's 3 types of people. There's dogs, there's horses, and there's tigers.
Yeah.
So a dog, right, a well-trained dog, if you leave a dog alone inside your house, it will die.
Yeah.
You don't feed it, it won't be able to hunt, it won't know what to do, it will just die. It will starve and die. A horse, however, a horse can go and eat on its own if it wants to. But the difference with a horse is that when you want a horse to do something, you have to keep whipping it. You got to keep telling it, like, go, 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 right? And that's how it always is with a horse. But a tiger, a tiger kills for fun.
Yep.
And then it eats whenever it feels like it.
Correct.
I only want to hang out with tigers.
And that's ultimately my goal as well, to have a company or people that are all, I guess, tigers,
all tigers.
Right? Warriors, like people that are like built like in the 1300s and they're all Norwegian Vikings. They're like, hey, who wants to go pillaging today?
I would love that.
That would be, yes, thank you so much to go. Let's go pillaging.
Jordan Belfort, like they're in the house. They're like, hey, we just made more money than we need to, but let's keep doing it just for fun, right?
Correct.
Because there's no end goal. You know, it's like for me, like Mike, when I first started, I thought the biggest number in the world was $10,000 a month. I couldn't comprehend $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a new Porsche every day with that money in my head, right? And I remember I did that, and I got to $10,000 a month, and I was like, I'm still kind of broke.
Yep.
Like I was going to Chipotle, and I would be like, double meat. Do I really want it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit for me. And for any other human on the face of the planet, $10,000 a month is the 1% of human civilization. But so I sat there and I was like, I'm in the 1% now.
Yeah.
Not in America, but in the world.
Yeah.
And I still was like, it really isn't that much money.
Yep.
And so what I recognized in that moment when we talk about like what people find success in is that money didn't really make me feel successful.
Correct.
When I felt most successful was when I woke up in Bali and I had this big house overlooking the Ubud forest.
Yeah.
And I woke up and I remember walking out and there's no windows in Bali. It's just these giant holes in the wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense because like mosquitoes get in, but somehow they don't. It's like a weird science thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I remember I walk up to my window. I had a second story balcony. I walk out 300 feet away from me. It's this big, beautiful forest.
Yeah.
And I can hear the monkeys just eating each other alive inside of it. And just the sound of murder monkeys just going at it was...
I like the idea of like a guy in the forest just having a t-shirt that's like, I'm a murder monkey.
I'm a murder monkey.
It's like, hey guys.
It just, I would wake up and I'd be like, the sounds of nature. And the monkeys are, blah, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's beautiful.
Yep.
But like that to me was like the moment where I was like, I've done it.
Yep.
When I took my mom on her dream trip, Dan!
I think the camera's overheating, actually.
The camera's overheating, Dan?
That's an option?
The camera's overheating? That's what's happening?
I think so.
What? You know what I just want to say? Whenever you give me shit about Panasonics, that's a Panasonic, that's a Panasonic, that's a Sony. The one that broke is a Sony lens. Just remember that. That to me was success.
Yeah.
When I took my mom on her dream trip to Egypt, that was success.
Yeah.
No number in my bank account. The biggest day I did last year was $7,000 in a single day.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the year, I set this egregious goal. I said, I'm going to make $25,000 in a month.
Yeah.
That to me was like the biggest number in the world.
Yeah.
And I think it was like 4 months later, we did $33,000 in a month.
Yep.
And I was like, whoa. All right, my life hasn't changed.
Yep.
Like nothing's different.
Have a burrito, go to
I
sleep.
can still go eat a burrito and go to sleep. Like nothing's crazy.
Yep.
But when I did those other things, I was like, I am the most successful person in the world.
Yeah.
So that's something I feel like people should really take away is that like people value success differently, right? People want different things.
Yeah.
They want purpose.
Yep.
They want achievement. They want title. They want environment, or they want money.
Yep.
And that's kind of how it breaks down for a lot of people in terms of like what they find success with. But I guess what I really want to keep coming back to is, when does someone in the agency world actually say like, I've done it, I'm at my peak point, I'm happy, I don't need to go anymore?
Yeah.
Do you think that's ever going to happen to you? Have you let me take this back. This discussion was horrible. For all the people out there that have done their 30K months, that have done their 50K months, and they're sitting there and they're thinking, I don't know if I want to keep going on this.
Yeah.
It got me the money I needed it to. My life has changed, but I'm still not happy. What would you say to those guys?
I would say it's because the happiness is not, like in your head, the happiness has nothing to do with the dollars in your bank account, right? The dollars in your bank account are safety. If everything goes to shit, and enables me to like spend the money on what I want to. Mm-hmm. And so like my happiness was like the 2-bedroom apartment, right? Which is really going to be that penthouse next year.
Next year's the penthouse.
Next year's the
big
penthouse.
penthouse.
Correct. I have a building that I'm in.
You're gonna get Tanner Chidester out of the penthouse.
It's like, Tanner, I want to take yours.
He's coming for you,
right?
Tanner.
And so like that's happiness, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the life that I genuinely believe that I should be living, right? Okay. And so there's this like really interesting chart on the graph, chart on the internet. It's like, this is the life I want to live, and this is the life that I have now, and this is why I drink, right? That's the space, that's the difference, right?
Ooh, okay.
And it's like, so this is the life that you want to live, cool. Are you heading towards that goal, or are you not? And if you're not heading towards a goal, your body's going to ache and your soul's going to hurt, right? And so I'm totally content and totally fine with moving towards that goal of getting the penthouse that I want. Cool. The problem is that it costs money, right? And chances are a heavy cash flow business is the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
For other people, they want to own like a 100-unit apartment complex, right? For whatever reason, like throughout their high school or childhood, like that's the safety, that's the goal, that's what I want to do. Cool. For some people, it's like first class travel. For some people, it's an amazing family. Like whatever their goal is. And that's why a lot of people have this like midlife crisis that you're talking about. Like they had that goal, and it doesn't really line up with the actions that they're doing now.
But then again, didn't you have that similar crisis? Because you said like, we had this thing last year where you said, when I do $100,000, and this was the greatest lesson you've ever taught me.
Yeah.
This was like beautiful. I don't even know if you recognize it. We said, when we do $100,000 in a month, you came to me and you're like, Icon, when we do $100,000 in a month, I'm going to go and I'm going to upgrade my apartment to the place on Brickell, and I'm going to buy the Ferrari of my dreams. Like, I had the guy ready to go. I was all set. And then we worked together. We sat in the office several months. And then one day, I remember we're doing the math. And you come to me and you're like, hey, we just had $100,000 a month. And I was like, yes!
Ferrari!
I'm so excited. I was like, let's go. Let's go get the dealership. I was like on the phone. I'm like getting the GPS and the Ferrari. I'm all ready to go. And I'm like, let's go. And then I was like, why aren't you excited, Jeff? I don't know if you remember this, but you looked at me and you were like, well, maybe I should get the Ferrari when I have $150,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that broke my fucking heart.
Yeah.
It really did. I was like, but you got it. Like that was the number you wanted. We got there. And now you're saying it's even farther away. And isn't that like what everyone does?
No, the Ferrari is like that dangling. That's
a dangling thing.
Like, oh, I'm going to keep going for the Ferrari. You never actually get the Ferrari, right? It's always the thing that keeps you like motivated, moving in the right direction. It's the trophy, right? Yeah. It's like hunting the bigger game.
Yeah.
Like once you shoot the bison, you're like, but maybe there's an elephant. And then once you get an elephant, you're like, maybe there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
Right? So you always keep going for like the bigger thing. When I think of a Ferrari, it's just to tease me to move forward. That's it. All I really wanted was that 2-bedroom apartment. Right, that's how I define my happiness and success.
Yeah, the super cool lights.
Right, the Model 3, cool. I would probably just get it faster, but that's the car I'll have for the rest of my life. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Never,
ever. And then maybe like, I don't know, knock this whole thing down and put something else here. Right.
Yeah.
But the Ferrari is literally just like the thing that dangles.
The thing that dangles.
And
everyone's got something that dangles.
Everybody. And like for you, it's probably like that camera, or Off-White. Right? Or is that right? Off-White?
Off-White, like the clothes?
No, like I remember you had a camera that was like Off-White.
Oh, that had the lens that was Off-White?
Yeah. It could be another trip to Bali.
Yeah.
Right? It could be anything and everything. Yeah. But you always have that like that bullshitter. You're like, oh yeah, I could probably do it. And honestly, once you get there, it's not that big of a deal. Like you think your life is going to change because you run like a 6-hour marathon. Oh, maybe it'll be changed like 5:30, right? 5 hour, 4 hour.
Like when you told me, you said, I was like, Jeff, what are you going to do when you make $10,000 in a day?
Yeah.
And then you did like one day where you sold a masterclass, you did like $30,000 in a day.
Yes.
And you were like, I think I'm going to go and eat a burrito. Yeah. And I was like, that's never going to be me. Never. I'm going to be so goddamn, I'm going to pour bottles. Literally, Drake's going to come and visit me. And we're going to have a party in Vegas.
Yeah.
And then I made $20,000 in the span of like 2 weeks. And we calculated it all up. And we did that $7,000 day. And I was like,
I'm going to have a burrito.
I'm going to go eat a burrito.
So it's the dangling, right?
It's the dangling.
For me, the next angle is probably like a Rolls-Royce Phantom, like that fantasy that you play in your head.
Yeah.
Like nobody really wants a Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Nobody does.
Nobody wants a Ferrari. They want, and you said this earlier, like everybody wants the person to look at them.
The idea of the Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I want the attention or the social status or the health and wealth that comes with, I imagine, the person that could be me who owns the Ferrari.
I like that,
right?
Yeah.
And that's just the game that you have to play with yourself. Like there's no other way. Like who the fuck likes eating spinach? Nobody, right?
Nobody likes
But
it.
if I get the 6-pack, then I'll, blah, blah, blah. So I'll eat the spinach, get the 6-pack. That's the challenge.
I see.
Yeah. And like I still use that dangling thing with myself of like, oh my God, what if I get like $1 million check by selling my agency? How fuck? well, I could finally. Oh my God!
I could buy a plane.
I could get that Ferrari.
Or like a pet ostrich.
That would be fun.
You know what I just learned about ostriches?
No.
You know that.
And that wasn't me answering your question. I was saying, please don't. It's just.
No, it's a great fact. I've been learning a lot of facts because I've been watching. So I have Disney Plus.
No, just stick with the ostrich. I don't need to know how you know.
So essentially, did you know that most ostriches are incredibly difficult to breed? Because 80% of the time, ostriches find their human captors more sexually arousing than ostriches.
I would believe so.
So it's really difficult. It's like being an ostrich trainer is a very dangerous profession.
Because they keep trying
Because the ostriches keep trying to have sex with you. And they're very aggressive. And there have been documented cases of people that have died by ostriches trying to rape them.
Gotcha.
I can't think of one.
So the idea of an ostrich farm is probably a bad call.
It's a terrible call.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I think I'd like to have a farm though. Like if I made my big check in the end, Jeff, like I think like I would want to retire like Kanye West style, have a ranch in Wyoming and just be at peace.
Yeah.
Nobody would bother me.
Jon Stewart did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
When he retired, he got a farm where he has like dogs from shelters that they just live the rest of their life.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is I could have done that in the beginning. It would have been super cheap.
But
like,
it's the dangling.
I guess it's like once you get you get so far with the dangling and you're like, all right, I got it. And then there's just no more dangling. You're like, I'm done chasing the
Once
dangle.
Kanye West got his ranch, he wasn't more happier.
No.
Once Jon Stewart got the ranch, it wasn't more happier. When I get my retired dog farm ranch, it's not going to make me more happier. It'll just represent the stage in life, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Like the biggest challenge or the biggest mark or metric was like, oh my God, my new agency is going to be so much better when I have an appointment setter.
Yeah.
That was the dangling. And then the salesperson, then the Facebook ads guy. And then like now we got a team of like 6 or 7 people, right? But it's same level, different devils or whatever phrase that is. Like you're always just going to have to keep going to the next level. And Elon Musk, like PayPal, he got a check for 165 million.
Billion.
No, 165 million. That was his check for PayPal, right?
Okay.
And then he went to the next thing and next thing and next thing. And now he made like, what? He has like 100.
Now he's inventing fucking space.
Right. He's got 100 billion in the bank.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
He got $1 billion worth of stock options in 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's nuts, right?
Well, the thing is that it's also like a really rapidly growing thing. Like people ask how they're so wealthy. And it's really just because of the ability of just your money to double and what was it, the eighth wonder of the world?
Compounding interest.
Compounding interest, right?
Yep.
So compounding interest, right? Here's the crazy fact. Apple has been around for 20 years.
Yep.
It took Apple 18 years to get to a $1 trillion company.
Yep.
But it took them 2 years to get to a $2 trillion company.
Correct.
And that's just how it works. And that's how it works with your money. So
like the same application of the idea applies to your skill sets.
yeah.
And so like if you are in your freshman year and you're not doubling, you will feel like you're stuck. You feel like this is stupid. This is not the life that I want to live. If you go from freshman to sophomore year and you've doubled your dollars or your skill set, the life that you want to live, you feel comfortable. Same with junior and senior.
Gotcha.
Right. And so like when Corona took everything with my agency, took it to shit, I went from 0 to 10K in 6 weeks. Cool. And then I was like, this is really not what I want to do. I can't charge enough. I can't hire people. I'm going to start everything all over again. And then we went from 0 to, I think, $65,000 in the same amount of time, including $10,000 days.
Yeah, because you just know what to do at this point.
Correct. And so I experienced that acceleration, and that's what happiness comes from, the growth part, right? So if you felt like, hey, you know what? I did mortgage stuff, and like I feel stuck. This is not the life that I want to live. That's one conversation. Yeah. But if you did mortgage stuff in the first 30 days, like this kind of sucks, but I can see next month we're going to double, then you get closer to your ideal lifestyle of like Bali.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, well, for me, what the biggest thing was is I realized like I'm never going to be broke again.
Right.
I'm never, because I know how to do this now.
Correct.
Anytime, if I lost my house tomorrow, if my hands got cut off, I could do it all again.
Yep.
And I could still build a 6-figure agency in probably 60 days.
Yeah. The skill sets that you're learning now are those like super secret millionaire skill sets.
Yeah.
Like everybody that's massively wealthy will never be unwealthy ever again.
Yeah.
No other way.
No other way.
And you are now getting on the right side of the new economy. Be like, hey, I know how to put an ad on the internet to get clients that want to buy what I have to sell. That is the most in-demand skill set ever in the history of the world.
In the internet economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really, really powerful, really, really fun. I mean, I've got like 500 dream clients that have signed up saying, I'm ready to pay you money. You just keep sending me proof. You got it. Let's boogie.
Yeah.
And as long as you learn how to do that, I mean, here's the weird part. Like our kids and grandkids are going to be like, where were you when Mark Zuckerberg was handing out $1 million bills?
I was right in my house.
Right?
Playing Minecraft.
There you go. But like
getting those things,
you were kind of on the receiving end of it.
I was.
Right? And there are a lot of people that are not in that environment and not in that room going, I didn't even know he was handing out money.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it was just like the SBA funds. Nobody knew that you could get these things, and this is a low interest loan that you could use to accelerate all kinds of different opportunities. Nobody
Correct.
knew.
And you can use it to buy customers.
Exactly. So, that was pretty damn powerful there. I think we've actually got a lot of cool, powerful things from this conversation.
Hopefully,
so far.
Dave, Dan,
Hopefully Dale.
Dale.
That's our editor.
Yeah,
he's really great.
he knows what he's doing.
I love you, Dale.
Yeah. He's in Canada, right?
He's in Canada now, and we're gonna bring him home to the Philippines soon.
Gotcha.
We got him here to Canada, and we're gonna send him right back to the Philippines.
But he's got the 2 screens, right?
He's got the 2 screens. He loves those screens.
Yeah.
So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. What I'd love to do is end this off with a couple fire questions.
Okay.
Okay.
6.5 inches. No, we're not talking about that. Okay. We're not talking about that. Okay.
How do we know? Okay.
No. Okay.
Okay.
I nair. Oh,
this
no,
is
no.
inspired by Josh Forty.
Yeah.
I'm just lightning. Dan, can we get a imaginary counter?
3, 2, 1.
Oh shit, that was not what I wanted. Okay, Dale, just throw a counter in the background here of like 30 seconds. Okay.
Oh,
so,
it's a 30. Okay.
I've got a couple questions for you, Mr. Miller. Are you
Okay.
ready? All right, I need you to get ready.
Okay.
No, I need you to get ready.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go.
Okay, so is
right.
it like we have to maintain eye contact the entire
No,
time?
you can maintain eye contact with the camera.
I have to look at. Okay.
You can. All right, are you ready?
No,
No, I'm gonna.
I'm not sure how this game works.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
This kimono is very suffocating.
It's not suffocating. It's
Yeah.
loving. It gives you love. It's the wisdom of the ancestors.
Is
That
it?
kimono's older than you are.
It's true.
All right.
How old is the kimono?
I don't know, but it's old.
How old is old?
Older than you.
Is it 28 years old?
It's probably 30, 40 years old, I'd say.
30, 40?
40, like 3,040 years
Wow,
old.
that's a very old.
Very old
Okay.
kimono.
Yeah.
All right, you're wearing history right there.
That's
I appreciate
exciting.
it. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you're gonna look at this camera and you're gonna answer that question. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Eyes on the clock. Here
Yeah.
we go. You have been given an elephant. You can't sell the elephant or get rid of the elephant. What do you do with the elephant?
Keep it
Or will you keep it?
in an elephant cage?
That was a terrible answer. Okay.
Is
next
the
question.
answer a refrigerator?
No, there was no right answer. It's just the word.
Oh.
Tina's gonna be on right. You and Andrew Croze have the terrible answer for this question.
What's
Andrew's like I ride the elephant, and I'm like,
Yeah.
every fucking person in PETA is gonna be on our ass for this.
But what else would you do to an elephant?
I don't know. I would like give it battle armor and like parade it through the streets, and I'd be like, I am the Elephant King, and that would be my day.
So this is an elephant you can ride?
Yeah, you can ride the elephant.
I assumed it was just like a wild elephant.
Well, it is a wild elephant. You're gonna have to train the elephant.
Oh, so I have to train the
You
elephant.
have to train the elephant.
Okay, so I have a trained elephant.
No, you will have to train the elephant.
I know how to train an elephant.
I mean,
So the
maybe.
question is like you have an elephant that you can't sell and you know how to train it.
Next question.
Okay.
So there is one color in the world that you can remove from history forever. What do you get rid of?
What color I remove?
What's one color that just sucks? Just get rid of that color.
I'm not a big fan of iridescent pearl because I don't know what that looks like.
Iridescent.
Have you ever been to Home Depot at the paint section and then they show you like 18 different colors?
There's one color that I don't fuck with. It is iridescent pearl.
Like, they're all the same color and they're like, pick one. I'm like, they're all the same. And then your girlfriend is like, there are 25 different colors. You're like, how? There's 3.
So it's actually super funny.
Yeah.
When I was getting my room painted, I came in and I was like, all right, I want gray.
Yeah.
Right? And there's this guy there, and he's got all these different paint swatches on and whatnot. And apparently he's like one of the chairmans of Bear Paint, right? And apparently he was doing this like undercover boss thing where he goes and he like visits people and teaches them about paint and whatnot. But he's a really high up guy, right?
Yeah.
And so I go up to him and I'm like, listen, bro, I got to ask you, who the fuck names the paint?
Yeah.
Like, who names these things? You know, because you look at them and they're named like Fires of Darkness.
Yeah.
Elenium Cloud.
Electric blue.
Electric Blue. But like they're dude names. Like
Yeah.
they're not like girly names. They're like
Iridescent pearl.
if you go to the guys' colors, like
Yeah.
the gray, the greens, the blues, there are things like
Machine
Manta
gun
Eel,
steel. Yeah.
Machine gun steel. And so I asked him, I'm like, why are they named these things? And they're like, well, we realized after like we spent millions of dollars on
Yeah.
product research, and essentially what we realized is that guys will just not buy the right paint.
Yes.
They will always just buy like the same. If we had 5 colors, they would always just buy the exact color they're looking for. They wouldn't go between gray and like slightly less gray.
Correct.
So we had a company came in and essentially they said we need to create fun names because guys will choose paints based entirely on the name,
Yeah.
not on the color.
'Cause we can't see the
and
color.
I did that same thing. My paint is called Iron Darkness, and
Yeah.
I think it's so fucking cool.
But it's gray.
But it's gray.
Awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, okay,
All right.
that
So
makes sense.
iridescent pearl, we got rid of that.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the last question?
Iron darkness.
Iron darkness.
That's really
It
masculine.
was super masculine.
Wow.
I remember this one was like something really nasty.
Is it
was
just
like,
black?
No. It was like black coffee stain. It was like something intense.
That's really strong. I like
Intense
that.
coffee stain.
Like, what color are you painting your house? Black
black
coffee stain. Yeah.
The stain of my enemies.
It's like, but what about your bathroom? Oh,
Yeah.
iron darkness.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
that sounds like when you think of one of those sexy vampire homes.
Yeah.
Like that's the paint colors that they would choose.
Coffee stain is my home abode.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Third and almost fourth question. Why are manhole covers circular?
So they don't fall in.
Oh. Wait, is that really?
Yes. You can't shove a circle in a circle. Yeah. If it was a square, you could diagonal it. Or a triangle, you could diagonal it.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You see, the thing is this
Has this ruined the question that you're going to ask?
This is a question that they ask on Berkshire Hathaway when they hire employees, because apparently there was supposedly no known answer for why manhole covers are circles and not squares. But that
because the diameter matches the circumference. You can't shove a manhole. It can't ever fall in.
Miller with your fucking facts. All right. I'm not going to say anything else. Tell me a fact real quick. Tell me a fun fact for the final question.
Did you know?
Yeah.
The reason why they have circular manholes?
No, I want a different fact.
Oh, you want a different fact?
Hey, give me a different fact. Tell me a fact.
Did you know that some ostriches are more attracted to? Is that not correct?
Also, sea otters are rapists. Like, animals suck. But
long
story short, we've carried this on long enough. Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
How did you feel about our first episode?
I felt like it was pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
You guided the conversation well. You understood the flow of the questions, and
cool.
you get like a B+.
I'll take a B+. That's more than my mom ever gave me. So
that's more love than my parents ever gave to me anyway.
More love than my parents ever gave me anyways. So thank you guys for checking in. Jeff, where can we find you? At the
on the internet.
Yeah, well, I got that part.
Yeah,
right, well,
I'm there.
What's the call to action?
One time, Andrew and I met a girl, and the girl was like, "Are you from the internet?" And we were like, "We are from.
We exist in the internet.
We are from the internet.
Yes.
We are the internet itself."
I like
and
that.
she's like Neo. I was like, "You're on drugs." And yes. No, so Facebook ad Agency Scaling Secrets. Just go to Facebook, type in Facebook ads Agency Scaling Secrets in the search bar. We're the only group with a butt on it.
Giant butt.
Big old booty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no butts here, but it's close.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Jeff, for coming on. And
I
will see you on a tink like good old times.
Oh, we're going to have the Air Force and like the explosions?
No, I think what we should do is we should like
Godzilla
tink
rolls.
and like, I don't know, maybe like little people will like jump on the desk or something.
Little people jump on the desk.
Maybe like we hit it and like, I don't know, like something crazy is going to happen.
I would like to
throw
see
some crazy
Godzilla fighting people.
Godzilla fighting people.
And an explosion.
Okay. I'm going to put all those things in the request of the editors.
Explosion!